Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to a very special show this evening. This is a collab special between the Jimmy Cheese channel and the Football Martin channel. Jimmy Cheese, welcome along. Great to see you, my friend.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see you all.
Yeah, we thought we'd get together, didn't we? International breaks here. We've done a block of 4 games. We'll talk about the weekend and everything in a minute. We'll look ahead as well. But first and foremost, we need to talk about one bit of breaking news this evening, and it's not the greatest news ever because the Southampton goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale is injured. It's been tweeted this evening that Ramsdale has broken a finger, reportedly. He's pulled out of the England squad. It's been confirmed by the football club as well that he's pulled out of the England squad. Dan Sheldon, who's a very, very well-respected sports journalist, has said that it is a broken finger. A broken finger, Jimmy, you would expect him to probably be out for about 6 weeks, wouldn't you? We're speculating at this moment in time, but it's a massive blow, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, I had a look, and some cases it can take 3 to 4 months. It just depends. I don't know which finger it is, but it could be serious, or it could be something small if it's broken or not. We'll know more soon, won't we?
Yeah, he's been brilliant for Southampton as well, hasn't he? Talk to me, and let's discuss how important he has been since he's come in for Russell Martin. Yes, he's shipped a lot of goals. We were conceding a lot of goals, but he's prevented us from probably being on the end of a couple of absolute hidings.
Well, he's top of the Premier League for shots saved, and I don't think we've been. Well, actually, no, that's not true. We have been pretty leaky at the back, obviously, but the defence has done a half-decent job at times. So for Aaron Ramsdale to top that table, it's shown that he has put in a lot of work, and it must be very deflating for him, having shipped so many goals in that time.
Yeah, gets that England recall as well, which he thoroughly deserved. I thought he thoroughly deserved that recall to the England squad. He's not been in the last few squads, and that was just down to that no playing time at Arsenal. But he's come to Southampton. He's playing week in, week out. I think he's been brilliant. I think this is a massive, massive blow for Saints. I really, really do. Guys, get involved. Get all your comments in, and what we're going to do at the end of the show, we'll get you guys involved. We'll read out your comments and what you've got to say on all things Southampton, but you can have your say. But this is the tweet that was put out by Dan Sheldon about an hour and a half ago. Exclusive. Southampton goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale is set for a spell on the sidelines with a suspected fractured finger. The 26-year-old will have an operation on Wednesday. That is Dan Sheldon from The Athletic with that tweet. I'm absolutely gutted. That would mean, Jimmy, that Alex McCarthy will have to come back in to the side. The man that done very, very well in the playoff finals, but had a shaky start to his life back in the Premier League.
This is the timing of this is interesting. With Russell Martin saying that he's going to be changing a few things up as well with his style of play. Obviously, he might have had his hand forced, but we saw, with Alex coming back in towards the end of last season, they had to change the style, and they were kicking it out a bit further, and it kind of, to some degree, suited us a bit better. So the timing of it is bang on for maybe what Russell Martin needs. Alex McCarthy's a decent shot stopper. Whether he'll get 36 saves like Aaron Ramsdale's done this season with only 1 clean sheet, I hope so. But we may not be passing it about as much at the back.
Yeah, I definitely don't see us passing out of the back as much as we have been, especially if Ramsdale's out. It's a huge blow. Brilliant signing so far for the Saints, Aaron Ramsdale. But let's reflect upon that game at Molineux at the weekend. I went up to it and watched it. It was a horrible trip home, actually. I think any defeat away from home is horrible, but a defeat actually when you're playing the team that were bottom, a game which you thought we had a really good chance in getting something out of, and we walked away with just the one shot a goal. Obviously, the VAR decisions we'll discuss in a minute, but we've got all the statistics, Jimmy, on the screen, haven't we? We've got the statistics. We'll read it all out, and we'll go through the key statistics from the game and break it down. The expected goals from Wolves 1.30 compared to the 0.60 of Southampton. But the big one, as per normal, Southampton had 71% possession, Jimmy, compared to 29 of Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. So retaining that much possession would mean that the idea is to not let your opponents score, not let them have that chance, and it's just not working for us with that much possession. We should be converting something, getting that striker on the ball and letting him have a crack, but we're just not doing that.
Yeah, we're not playing to the strengths of some of our players. I've been saying it in streams and shows I've been on in the last week. Cameron Archer's making some unbelievable runs, not finding him like we should. Dibbling again, we need to get him up the field. We need to get the ball forward to our wider men quicker. I think the statistics speak for themselves. Southampton with the one shot at goal, Wolverhampton Wanderers with a 4. Obviously, they scored the 2 goals. Other than that, you look at the passes between the two sides. Southampton was 673. Wolverhampton Wanderers had just 213 passes in the game, which is an unbelievable statistic. It really is. Southampton had so much of the ball, but it got recycled so much. The amount of times that Lallana got on the ball midfield, turn back, give it back to one of the centre backs, and yeah, I just thought the game was a disaster, conceding the goal after 2 minutes. I've said it in my matchday vlog. It was just the game plan's out the window, literally there and then, isn't it?
If you add up Bednarak, and if you add up our two main centre backs, Bednarak and help me out here, Holbellis.
Yeah, Holbellis massively out of position for the goal as well.
Yeah, that's basically Wolves passing. So the number of passes for our two at the back there amounted to Wolves' entire team, which is just crazy. Jack Stevens, I think, was next closest in terms of touches. So
yeah, he did a lot of touches of the ball.
Yeah, it's not really. You can't really defend it when you've got a team that. Wolves are pretty good on the counter anyway. I think Cunha's a decent player, and that shot that he scored, I think that's a tough one to save. But as you said, going up towards the decisions that caused that, there are a couple of ones that you might want to question in there from the ref again, which I didn't to start with, to be honest. I thought it was all fair. But it does look a bit more difficult to accept now. But
yeah, I watched Ref Watch actually this morning on Sky Sports News, and they were analysing with Dermot Gallagher the decision to disallow Southampton that first goal. He thought that the officials got it right, Dermot Gallagher. The two ex-players, Sue Smith, I believe it was one of the females. I can't think of the other guy that was in there. Two ex-players. They both thought it was a disgraceful decision. I still think to disallow that goal. At first, when I looked at it where I was in the corner of Molineux, I actually thought he was going to give a penalty because it looked away from where I was. I was kind of at pitch level. I thought it was going to be a penalty here. Obviously, Manning has then smashed it in. So I was thinking instantly it was a penalty before Manning has come back out to Manning and he scored. Brilliant hit from Manning, actually. It was a really, really good strike. I actually thought he played quite well, Manning, at the weekend. I know he took a little bit. I actually think he's been playing quite well.
He always does. He always does.
We lost a little bit when he went off. I quite like him in that advanced position. He's getting a lot of balls in. He was an outlet all the time. He was more of an outlet, actually, I thought, than Adam Armstrong in that first half. Armstrong just didn't get the ball, couldn't get it to him, and when he did, he was heavily marked. And yeah, the VAR decision for that was diabolical. But let's talk about the second one, because there's 2 fouls in the lead up to the second Wolves goal just after half time. Mateus Fernandes is clearly fouled.
Yeah.
And then not only is Mateus Fernandes fouled, what about the foul on Cameron Archer?
Yeah, he you know, he was literally pulling that shirt off, using his height. So he was getting over him, really getting in there with his hand, and had a good fistful of shirt and pulled him back and down. And again, to start with, I literally thought to myself, well, Archer needs to be standing up stronger here. You know, you've got somebody pushing down a bit. You know, break away, maybe move and turn, and he could have done if he wasn't trying to back into him, perhaps. But yeah, clearly, you know, a foul just before that. The ball still came towards him, and he was bundled down. But the ref was not interested, not one bit. Unfortunately, it did look a bit, as I say, to start with. Maybe we just weren't being hard enough and taking the chance. But no, on reflection, looking at it back closely on TV, it was, my opinion, a foul.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised that the refs are sticking together on that. But yeah.
The match
I understand that they kind of need to.
Totally agree with what we're saying. Totally agree with us. Totally agree with what we're saying.
And that is super rare for match of the day to agree with us. You know, they're an odd one, match of the day. You know, they tend to hate on Saints, and so sometimes if they do turn around and say that something was a foul and we should have had it, then yeah, go with that.
Yeah, no, I was disappointed with the officiating. I have actually been, since we've gone back to the Premier League. It wasn't great in the Championship, but without VAR, it makes it a little bit more bearable. We go to the Premier League, add VAR, and they're still using VAR and still getting decisions wrong when they can watch so many different shots of instances and still get it wrong. I think it is quite unbelievable. A bad defeat all round. The lack of shots really concerned me. The lack of testing a goalkeeper. A team that had not kept a clean sheet all season, were not kept a clean sheet going back to February this year. The manager under huge pressure, the fans really tense inside the stadium. It was a game that we needed to win. I thought it was a must win game for us. I felt if we lost it, we'd be staring down the barrel of the Championship. Do you feel the same way? I know it's early. We've only played 11 games. We'll look at the table in a minute, but do you feel the same as I do? Do you feel like we're staring down that barrel of the Championship?
I mean, we're on four points, so we can't be deluded about which way this is heading. I don't think anybody can, and yeah, technically you can still make it up, but this is going to require some drastic change, and our next set of fixtures are not kind towards that. You know, as a fan and somebody that's making content on the club, it's the last thing you want to be saying is that you think your team's going to lose. But I'm quite realistic, and this is how I feel about it. And if that's where we're heading, back to the Championship, then as a fan, we don't have much choice rather than calling for drastic measures from everybody. But unless something changes and we start scoring goals, and that is the biggest area, in my opinion, of where the team need to improve. It's that goal scoring. I think that the defence need help from the rest of the pitch, and everybody's missing, basically. Everybody up the pitch is missing from defending. We're not getting the right amount behind the ball at the right time of breaking and getting up that field. And that's what they need to do. They just need to bomb up that pitch as quick as they can and get that ball forward and away from that defence.
Yeah, I'm so with you. I just think we don't transition the ball back to front anywhere near quick enough. We need to have a look at the other results in the Premier League as well this weekend, because we have been affected by one team around us, and we need to look at all the results from across the Premier League this weekend. The big standout one for me, and it will be for you as well, and for everybody tuning in this evening, will be that result for Ipswich at Tottenham Hotspur, with that 2-1 victory at the old, I was going to call it White Hart Lane, but Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It was a big shock, Jimmy, that one, wasn't it? Ipswich to go there and get an away win, first Premier League win for them.
Yeah, good for them to start with. That they've kind of gone a bit under the radar in terms of the pressure that maybe their manager would be under. I haven't really seen it that much in the news. He's kind of escaped any negative press, and yeah, of course
Yeah,
they've just come up. They've come up, twice, and done a great job for where they are. But I like seeing them beat Tottenham. I mean, that was quite a surprise, 2-1. And both the players that we were kind of linked with, having with Sami Smodic and Liam Delap, both of them that we might have had a chance at getting. I thought Smodic is pretty good. That's a big result for them, and I'm surprised to see Spurs struggling that bad, especially with Son back.
Yeah, Liam Delap, he's had an unbelievable start to life in the Premier League. I thought we had quite a quiet game against Southampton, actually. I didn't think he was great when we played him. Yeah. But he's definitely got a bit of form about him. I think he scored, I saw a statistic yesterday, I think he scored more goals in his first 11 games we've played than any other English striker, I believe. So his statistics are really, really good. Actually, the statistics around Ipswich in this game as well are quite interesting because they didn't have loads of possession. They only had 34% of possession compared to the 66 of Tottenham, but they had eight goal attempts and 3 shots at goal, and they scored 2 of them. So they get the ball forward. They were really resolute in defending as well. From the highlights I saw, I'm really, really impressed with them. And when you look back at their fixtures of who they've had to play as well, it was a really, real baptism of fire, I thought, for them, because the fixtures weren't friendly to them at all. They opened up the season with a horrific fixture against Liverpool. It's the last team you probably wanted to play at the start of the season. They've had to play Man City as well. Struggled against Leicester. But other than that, it's all been, really tough fixtures for them. So fair play for getting their first win on the board, and sets them up nicely for after the international break. Bournemouth, they lost away at Brentford. Don't travel well. Bournemouth at the moment, they're still mid-table, decent, solid start to the season. Team around us, Crystal Palace, 2-0 defeat at home against Fulham. Their manager, Oliver Glasner, he's under some pressure right now. Another manager under pressure at this moment in time is Lopetegui at West Ham. They drew 0-0 at home against Everton. Their fans are calling for his head. Pressure eased, obviously, on Gary O'Neill with Southampton losing to Wolves and Gary O'Neill getting that victory. Brighton is still going well. Big shock there. They beat, I would say it's a shock. They beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-1 at home. And then Liverpool, who Southampton play in the next fixture, beat Aston Villa, who are out of a little bit of form at the moment at Anfield on Saturday as well. Any other fixture? Anything else stand out for you, fixture-wise, Jimmy? When you look at the results from the weekend.
I mean, obviously Forest have just lost to Newcastle. I think Forest have been doing absolutely fantastically this season. And on their form, I might have thought that they would beat Newcastle there. But what I might add is, obviously, with the style that we're playing in the possession, we're kind of seeing a little bit of a shift, I think, in the style of play in terms of the teams trying to dominate possession, including Manchester City. Teams are getting wise to it and figuring out a way of beating them, and it's almost like that counter-attacking style of football's coming back in. So a little bit, even perhaps with Liverpool, how they've managed to transition from their high pressing style with counter-attacks and the like. It's benefiting teams. Man City teams are showing that even against them that they are vulnerable now. And I think for a team of our quality to be trying to play a strong possession style, it's going to make it really difficult.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I watched a bit of Nottingham Forest against Newcastle yesterday. I didn't think the scoreline that reflected that game. I thought Forest were really good first half. Hudson-Odoi playing on the left-hand side, Elanga on the right, Gibbs White pulled the strings in midfield, and they just when they broke with men and numbers, and they really tried to fill the opposition's 18-yard box. The thing was that Newcastle tried to do the same with Gordon, Isaac, and Joe Linton. It was a really good game, actually. It was a good spectacle to watch, and Newcastle just had that little bit more in the day and finished it off. But it was a really, really good game to watch. I love the way that Forest play football, actually. There's a lot to be admired about them actually at this moment in time. Great manager, by the way.
Such good business as well.
Manager of the month, wasn't he?
Yeah, some of the players that they've got in their team, like they might not have been at form at their the bigger clubs. Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, but you put them in a team where they're going to be playing each week and they're allowed some creative freedom. They're good players.
Yeah.
Are scary for defenders, but Newcastle have the same. Especially when you've got someone like Isaac,
strong
Gordon,
leaders all over the park, both of them.
Linton, yeah. Newcastle should be doing a lot better. Maybe it's their defence that have been a bit shaky this season, but some of the players that they have in their team, it's just mad that they've struggled so much so far.
Yeah, it's been an in and out start for them. We should have a look at the Premier League table and see where everyone sits after game week 11.
It's going to be painful, man. What are we doing?
Not nice reading if you're a Southampton fan tuning in this evening. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Numbers are very, very strong, so thank you all very much indeed. Get involved in the comments box below. We will read out some of your conversations very, very shortly. But Southampton finished this block of fixtures bottom of the Premier League with just the 4 points from 11 games. Wolverhampton Wanderers, they lifted themselves off the bottom of the Premier League with that victory against Saints at the weekend. They've now got 6 points. Crystal Palace pulled in after Ipswich Town won yesterday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Everton with that draw against Fulham. They got 10 points in 16th. Leicester City are in 15th. Their fans are moaning like hell right now. They've got 10 points on the board, which I would have been absolutely delighted with if I was where they are right now. And they're not happy with it, Jimmy. I was reading their fans across TikTok yesterday. They're all calling for Cooper's head, and they're hoping that they can get David Moyes in this international break. They want Cooper gone. He's getting points on the board, though.
They wanted Cooper gone before the game against us. Well, I think it's a bit of a surprise that they want to change it up. I think they're playing out of their skins right now, to be honest. I think they're doing a great job, Leicester.
Yeah.
And maybe Cooper isn't the most
inspiring man, maybe.
Inspiring person. Yeah, that's probably the right choice of words. But he's clearly doing a half decent job with a squad that's just come up. And I don't think I'd be calling for a change right now. I think they need to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, apparently they weren't as good yesterday at Man United. Apparently they were poor yesterday.
No.
But they come to St Mary's were decent, weren't they? I thought they were.
Yep, they were pretty good, feisty.
Yeah.
They've got Chelsea next on the Saturday that we will play again, the 23rd.
Ooh.
After that,
playing their ex-manager
away
as well.
Yeah, and they've got Brentford away, and then West Ham and Brighton. So they've got some half favourable games there. Chelsea can still be beaten by anybody.
Yeah, well, when we talk about fixtures, Southampton, the Saints, our team, we don't have the greatest fixtures in the world, do we? It's going to be
We've got a tough run now. We have a tough run.
Yeah, we need to go over those fixtures and talk about what's up and coming, because we return after the international break. Super Sunday, the mighty Saints face Liverpool at home with a 2:00 kickoff in front of the Sky cameras. Don't particularly enjoy a game in front of the Sky cameras, I've got to be honest. Give them a chance to analyse us. They'll pull us to pieces, I would think. Brighton and Hove Albion's the next game, and it's a Friday night game, another on Sky Sports. Then we're at home against Chelsea. That's on Prime Video, I believe that one. It's a midweek fixture, Wednesday night, 4th of December. We then travel to Aston Villa, who've had a fairly decent start to the season. Had a couple of rocky weeks, but a really, really good side under Emery. We've then got Tottenham at home on a Sunday night at 7:00. Bizarre timing. And then obviously we've got the quarter-final in the Cup against Liverpool. So Liverpool, twice in a month. That won't be great fun. And then before Christmas, it's Fulham away. When you look at those fixtures, it's makes horrible reading, doesn't it?
Was it all top 10 teams apart from West Ham?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much all top teams.
Yeah, apart from West Ham, who are 14th. That's it's not good. It's not good for us. We'll come on to Russell Martin in a minute, I'm sure. And where the team's going. And
Well, that's the big thing now, isn't it? What happens before we get to these fixtures? Because we've slipped into an international break now. The football club got 2 weeks to reset and decide whether they're going to stick or twist. A lot of talk in the media last couple of days that one BBC journalist was under the impression that they think the Sport Republic, the owners of the football club, will stick with Russell Martin. I had someone private message me today who's a fairly good source. He thinks they'll stick with him until at least Christmas. Remains to be seen. What are your thoughts on it? And everybody tuning in, get your comments in the comments box below. We'll read some of those out shortly. But what do you feel, Jimmy? What's your thoughts?
I think that we're getting mixed messages right now from the board. They've not really done any official statements. Maybe they need to clear it up. I personally, I feel like there's a bit of gaslighting going on here. I know that's quite a strong word to use, but I'm hearing things coming out such as there's no money to do this. Obviously, we know about his contract extension, which is probably something that was written into his contract initially. If you get promoted, you get a contract extension of 2 years, which would then make it a 3 or 4 year contract. The pay that is alleged to be going around is something like 3 million a year, which is quite a lot of money compared to other teams and other managers for somebody who doesn't have Premier League experience. But again, that's between them. But I almost feel like the board have put the club into this position purposely so that they can't, they say that they have this plan, and they had Nathan Jones, who was their main man that they wanted to get in. That didn't work out. The fans forced a change effectively. So then they've got Russell Martin, who they've said they see the club growing with him and moving forward regardless. And I think when you give him that much money, it almost makes it impossible for the club to dispense with his services. So I think that they may have put us in that situation to say, no, fans, you need to be quiet. You need to put up. This is where we're going because we cannot do anything else. But my opinion is, if we go down with him, and he plays the same style of football, we're going to be doing the same thing next season. So are we going to come up again with that same style? We got lucky too this season. And then we're going to be almost in the same situation next season. So flexibility is what he needs to start learning. Plan B, plan C.
He needs another way to play football.
Has that in his locker. He has to. He has to, because if the fans don't start seeing some flexibility, the fans will decide on this. They will start causing problems in the stands. There will be anger. There will be booing. And I have to say, for the most part, regardless that these results are not what we want, people have been back in the team. But I do believe we'll start seeing it. We'll start seeing a lot of anger and frustration, and it will be the club and the players that get upset about it. And I don't want to put that into people's heads or people's mouths. And I certainly don't want to be leading anything like that. But the fans will decide ultimately. They will.
Yeah.
But that's the ugly side of football, and I don't think anybody at Southampton wants to see that. We do want Russell Martin to succeed. Of course we do. Yeah. He's a nice, likeable guy. We've both met him plenty of times, and I want him to do well. I want the style of football to work. But until we start scoring goals and getting the club out of a terrible, terrible situation that it could be, then it's just going to keep going downhill for everybody, and then they'll start seeing empty seats.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing, isn't it? If results don't improve, you can already see now that the tickets have only just sold out for Chelsea. You look further ahead and you look online, the ticket sales are not what they were. They were selling games out the minute they went on sale. They were selling out to members before it even got to general sale. You can already notice a change in that, because I looked today. for me, I've said it on numerous TikToks, numerous shows I've been on. I said it actually when I went on a show at the start of the year that I thought he would adapt. He hasn't done, and that's really, really, really surprised me. I think he still needs to adapt quickly. I think he needs to play to some of the player strengths, which we're not doing right now. And I think he really needs to go away and reflect upon the 11 games that we've played and make a plan of action. And for anybody that's tuning in that wants to watch a really good podcast, Simon Jordan from TalkSport sat down with Troy Deeney last week, Graham Souness, the ex-Southampton manager, and Henry Winter, who's a very good journalist. And at the top of their show, they spoke about Southampton, and that all four of them, top pundits, experts in the game, you would say, or said the same thing. The club needs to come first. We've been a little bit disrespectful to the league, thinking we can do what worked in the Championship, just take it to the Premier League and continue with it. Everybody saw what Burnley did, Sheffield United did last season, and you've got to look at those two clubs and learn something from them. And they all felt we're not learning from it. Graham Souness said, continue like he's going, and he doesn't change. He said, inevitably, the football club will get relegated and the manager will get sacked. I think no matter what, he will not be the manager next season. Whether we manage to stay up, which I don't think we will. If we go back to the Championship, he won't be the manager. I think it will become untenable if we keep losing games. That's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Yeah. I don't think that he's trying to be disrespectful. I don't think that that's the right word to be throwing around in this situation.
I
think I think disrespectful is that's almost an ego. That's some, of course, these people have got a lot better qualifications than I have to be commenting. But as a fan, disrespectful is not what he's trying to achieve. He's trying to achieve a style and some passion and logic, but it's not working. And you can be stubborn, and you can keep being stubborn and keep making the same mistakes. I don't think that's disrespect. I think that is somebody that is so hell-bent on getting their style across that they think that they can achieve something with it. And that can be a good thing. It can be a good thing. You look at any top CEO in a company, sometimes they're narcissistic, they're egotistical. They have to be. These people have to be that, because that's what drives them on to do great things. And Russell Martin's probably the same. But if we're talking about a company, the company is failing right now. And so, in any company, as I say, if the results aren't going right, the board will make the change.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens. It will be interesting. I think I've been waiting for my phone to ping for the last couple of days, and I think longer
it's
it
not
goes,
coming, is it?
Longer it goes, it's unlikely, isn't it? I think it's unlikely.
I'd be surprised. Yeah. I mean, looking at what the fans think. So, a lot of people have come out and said, 12 million this and 12 million that. Simple. They can take out loans. They can do this. They can, if they want to, they can work that without a doubt.
Be 100 million if they get relegated, they lose. It's 100 million.
There's big money in this thing. It's just whether they're gambling people or they're adamant on continuing the way they are. And I just think that they have put themselves in this situation almost purposely. And they're saying, what can we do? Well, there's a lot you can do. And there's a lot the fans can do as well. If the fans aren't happy, there's a lot that they can do to show that.
That happened with Nathan Jones. It did happen with Nathan Jones at the end, at a very short period. But they did,
his last game, they put out stretchers all around the dugout, didn't they? So people get to the dugout as easily.
Yeah, I've never seen a manager hounded out like him.
Yeah, I must say, I mean, like he enraged the fans, like just some of the things that he was saying about them. Like,
a lot of people compare it.
Wanted to go down there and tell them.
And at that time, a lot of people compared it to the time under Ian Bradford. Everybody, I've never seen a manager hated like him. He was proper hated in the end, and it obviously he went in the end. But the Nathan Jones scenario, I don't think anyone really dislikes Russell. I think everybody likes him. I think he's got a lot I want him to be a legend of the football club for what he did last year. I just think everybody is desperate for our team to stay in the Premier League. We've been a Premier League club for such a long period of time. We want to be a Premier League club. And everybody feels with the group of players we've got, we can be doing so much better. We're just not playing to anyone's strengths. And I think that everybody feels the same. You know, you've done some polls on the Jimmy Cheese channel and across your platforms. Give us an idea of what the polls are saying. You've put it out a couple of times now. What's the response been like?
So I've run 3 polls after the last 3 matches. So the first one, what was it, after the Leicester game where we lost? 56% of fans, I think it was, wanted Russell Martin to leave, regardless of whether we went down or stayed up. They just wanted him to leave. So I put 2 options, in or out, regardless. The next one was after a win, and interestingly, that changed a little bit more. So it was about 60% wanted him to leave, even after a win. But this week, it's now 86% want him to leave, and that's about with about 300 votes. So you know, it's not every single fan out there, but I think it's a pretty broad spectrum. But we're also seeing a lot of people, you know, after a couple of days now, come out and start saying that people that want him out are stupid and need their head wobbling and things like that. And I disagree. People are quite entitled to their opinion. You know, all these people that say fans are stupid and naive because they want rid of somebody or it's not working. I think that's unfair. And I'll put that as a statement. You know, you shouldn't be saying that about people.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I saw a poll a short while ago on one of the Southampton forums. I'm happy to say the forum it was, Saints Web, owned by Steve Grant, who's on Total Saints podcast. Has a forum, loads of topics on there at the moment, loads of regular contributors on there. And his latest poll at this moment in time, there 281 have said they would like to see him removed. 28 want him to stay. So it's a 90% of people that have voted on that poll want him out at this moment in time. We're just 9% wanting the manager to stay. And the threads are well worth a read if you enjoy reading football content. I spend a bit of time reading that. But yeah, it's great to get your opinion on it. Great to get your thoughts on it as well. We've got loads of conversation in the chat. Should we read a bit out and talk over a few of the bits that have been put in the comments?
I definitely think yours is popping a bit more than mine, but I've got a few good ones here. Just want to say hello to everybody that's tuned in on my live stream as well tonight. So we'll run through a few. Yep.
Yeah, some good numbers. Maybe if I pull one of mine out, I can see yours as well. So if I pull one of mine out, then you pull one of yours out, and we'll work through it. This is quite a good one to start with because we're on topic of the manager Russell Martin at the moment, and it's a really good one by Luke. Do you think the board extending Russell's contract was their message to the fans? I give you my opinion, and I'll ask Jimmy's opinion. And my opinion is no. I don't think it was a message to the fans. Not my gut feeling. I think it was probably in his contract. If we were promoted and he got us promoted, there was an activation clause within it to extend his contract by a year. There'd probably be some pay increases as well, some bonuses. And I think that's all it was. I don't think you would have seen a contract extension if we hadn't have been promoted, but I believe that's what it was. I don't know the ins and outs of the contract, but Luke, that's my opinion. Jimmy, what about yours?
Yeah, quite along the same lines. I think there's probably a clause that he could trigger, and it was he's extended that. That would have been written into initially, and I think probably had we not come up, I think they would have kept him last season anyway because it wasn't a terrible job. So yeah, I think he would have stayed regardless, but that was written into his contract initially, I reckon, and it's been triggered. The money is big, though. That is big money.
Yeah. It is big money involved. Right. Do you want to pull one of yours out?
So you know what? Actually, just to answer that specifically, yes, I do think that was a message to the fans. I think that was them saying, "This is us." Yeah, and we haven't seen a 3, 5, or 10-year plan. I certainly haven't, and I have tried looking. I do
Yeah,
believe that I believe that that's their message, though.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting to get your thoughts on it. Have you got one? If you tell me
Well,
who,
you
who
go
it
ahead.
is.
Actually, I think you've got them all, so you can put them on the
Yeah, I've got them
graphics on your
all.
screen.
Okay.
Yeah. You go
Yeah.
for it.
Okay. There's some good bits. Jack says Jack's a regular contributor on my channel. He said that he wants him to go
Is he talking
now.
about me or Russell Martin?
No, Russell Martin. He's talking about Russell Martin. There's some interesting comments actually. Paul's in. I know Paul really well. He's a great guy actually, lovely fella. He's put an interesting comment in. Parachute Payments Club wants pounds to invest in the stadium, the train station development, to build again in the Championship, and hopefully new management. What's your thoughts on that one, Jimmy? Then I'll throw away
I
2 minutes in.
haven't seen anything about it. I know that obviously a station at the stadium would have been good. Initially, I think there were quite a few reasons that they couldn't put something in there. I don't think that that's what we would be putting that money into from parachute payments. So I think that would be simply used on keeping the club up and fighting. I think that would probably be quite a lot of money to invest in a stadium, and I don't think that will return in any revenue for them. So I think that they wouldn't be changing anything anytime soon, especially now that they've got the areas off to the side where the coaches are going by the factories.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if anything like that. So, Paul, if you've got any, if you've got any thing to back that up, I'd be interested to see that. Thanks.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't believe that they want to be yo-yoing. I don't think anyone wants to be yo-yoing. You're risking so much by doing that, in my opinion. I had a comment about Pompey a little while ago. It was a little bit earlier on in the show. This is from Stuart. Stuart, thank you for tuning in. Looks like it will be a Pompey derby as things stand. Oh, mate, they could easily go down Pompey right now. I watched them against Plymouth the other day. They're dreadful. Yeah, I know they beat Preston at the weekend, but I'm not convinced that they're being the Championship next season. Anyway, that's my gut feeling. How about you, Jimmy?
23rd in the league, only QPR behind them. Goal difference of -12. They've got the last 5 loss, draw, loss, and a win. So pretty similar to us. So yeah, we might go down, but Pompey may well go down. And I think they made a song about it a little while ago about how this was going to happen. But no, they got that wrong too.
Yeah.
We probably will go down if people want to troll us. Yeah, absolutely. We're not disillusioned. We probably will go down, but more than likely Pompey are going down too.
Yeah, which would be delightful if they did. But I guess from a vlogging perspective, for the two of us that like to go and create content at games, a part of me, I was thinking about this morning actually. Joe, it'd be quite good to go and vlog a Pompey derby. I think it'd make great content, don't you? We wouldn't be able to chat to any of the fans and get them on. But I know a lot of Pompey fans, but I think it'd be you look back, when was the last derby? What year was it? Someone put it in the comments box below. Danny Ings down at Pompey. I don't think anyone was really vlogging back then, were they? So the opportunity to make a bit of content on that, I've got to say, make some good viewing.
Could be. I think the last game, 24th of September 2019, that was in the AFL Cup, and Pompey absolutely thrashed us that game by losing 0-4. So yeah, Danny Ings twice. I remember that game. That's when somebody punched a horse, isn't it? Then they trashed their own town.
Trashed their own town afterwards.
It's happened a couple of times since.
There's actually a brilliant YouTube video on the derby. If anybody wants to go and watch it and they've not seen it before, I think it's Copper 90. If you type that into YouTube, Derby Days, the Saints Pompey one is brilliant. It is brilliant. The real good background around the derby.
Yeah,
it's not just all about football. Why there is this rivalry, but it is.
People need to know that this isn't a football thing, and
isn't a football thing.
Sometimes it's a bit ridiculous, and if you're a young person who don't really know about Portsmouth and Southampton, go and have a look, because there's a lot more going on than football.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And it's really absolutely irrelevant to you guys these days. It's really irrelevant. This is football. So enjoy the football rivalry, but there's a much bigger thing going on than what you think.
Yeah, definitely. We've got some really good numbers tuning in tonight. Thank you all very much for tuning in. There's no Monday Night Football on Sky Sports tonight, so you can tune in to our channels and get some good football chat from two content creators who both love their club very much. I've got 40 on my channel live at the moment, which is brilliant. So thank you for tuning into mine. Jimmy's got, I don't know how many you got in yours, but you've got numbers in there as well. So
My mum's probably on.
Yeah, we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in. If you're watching on catch up as well, get involved in the comments as well. We'll put it out so you can comment on this at a later date. You're going to put it out you're going to put it out and keep this out there, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're planning on doing this, and each week we're going to see how it goes and do it from there.
Keep it regular. We're going to keep it regular.
Yeah, we're going to keep this regular. Enjoy it. It is good fun.
Yeah,
it's been a busy weekend, hasn't it?
It has. Right, let's get back to some more of these comments we've had put in there. There's a really good one I saw pop in a little while ago, and I hope he's still watching. His name's Saint Andy, and it's a good one actually. Could we play both Paul and Archer up front together for 4-4-2? Real old school football way of playing. Give my quick thoughts on it. We had Cameron Archer's cousin, I believe, or some relation to Cameron Archer on a TikTok live yesterday, and we were talking about Cam Archer, and he just said about playing to Cameron's strengths actually, and I'm not sure Cameron's strengths are actually playing with Paul after chatting to him. I think a lot of fans look back to Kevin Phillips and Peter Crouch and the way they played together and think, oh yeah, that'd be a really good combination. But actually, I think Cameron's he likes balls played in the channels. He likes to get on the end of things. I think we've seen his goals at Cardiff in the Cup, and we've seen his goal against Arsenal. He loves those balls in the channel, Jimmy, doesn't he? I think, look, it could work potentially, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We are not playing to his strengths right now. That is 100% certain.
No, I think I've said it for a while. I think he reminds me of some other players that don't necessarily want balls into feet. They want it to run in behind, through balls. I think if you're playing it to his feet, he's got to turn and then do something and beat somebody. And whilst he's speedy, I think just we need to be playing that ball through midfield or quicker across the box, pullbacks, cutbacks. Yeah, a lot quicker rather than building it in and then having a load of defenders to go through, because I think he needs to get on it like poachers.
Yeah, I do. I agree. I still think
you could play it off to Paul.
There's a shout for Onuachu for me, and I feel there's been a shout for him for
Absolutely.
a while. Glenn de la Cour, who I respect massively in the Southampton domain as a fan that's involved with the Total Saints podcast, writes League One -10. He's very, very knowledgeable when it comes to his football. He was talking about him yesterday on the Total Saints podcast this Sunday, and he's correcting what he said. There's got to be a call for him. He said, we've got to try something different. We're not scoring goals. We've only scored 7. This guy's scored all over Europe, but play him and try and play to the bloke's strengths. If you're going to play him, there's no point playing into his feet. Get it into him. You only have to look at his goals that he scored across Europe. He had an opportunity against Stoke City a couple of weeks ago to play him, and he didn't. And it was a chance for a plan B to go and let's try something new. Let's try something different. But I was so disappointed that we had that opportunity and we didn't do it, but you've got to utilise the squad. And
I think like Cam Archer is a bit like Ollie Watkins, and I think he would benefit from having somebody getting that ball knockdowns and getting on it and poaching. With regards to Paul and Archer, I think when he's been on the ball, occasionally he's got a bit of a wild touch, but he's clearly out of match form, and
he needs confidence.
I've seen him skin players though. He's doing step overs. He's sending players the other way, and that he's out on the wing doing that. Like get the man in the middle, and get somebody laying it off to him, or get him knocking it onto others from corners. And
he was so good at Arsenal when we went, wasn't he? When we went to Arsenal, how good was he when he came off the bench? And he didn't get any time, did he?
He causes that chaos in the box, which is something that we don't have. I think the other team's centre backs know quite well where we're coming from, and what we're going to do. But, you put somebody on that's 6'7" into the box, and immediately you're drawing two players, you're two big guys as well. If he can get ahead on it, that's released two people, for Cam Archer, Adam Armstrong, whoever, to get that goal. And we know Adam Armstrong can finish when he needs to. He hasn't shown us that in the Premier League, but Ollie Watkins knows exactly where the corner of the goals are, and that's what we need.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I
agree.
think massive call for Paul and Archer, and I've wanted that from the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Why we're not using him? Ego, stubbornness, a desire to play a certain way.
Yeah, put the club first. That's all I keep saying. Put the club first. Another interesting one from Andy, actually, and it was a conversation I had with I think it was my dad actually today. We talk Saints every day. Football dad, we chat every day about Saints. It's usually the first thing we talk about. What happened to Charlie Taylor? It was a conversation I had with him today. Solid left back. Don't think he's done anything wrong. It was weird because he didn't start the season. Comes in the cup against Cardiff. Done really well. He then gets into the side against Ipswich. Played well. He's in the side for a couple of weeks. Then he's bombed. Totally. And he's nowhere to be seen. He's not injured because he's been playing up in the under-21s. Don't get that.
Yeah.
We brought him in as a left back, but because Stevens is now available again, he's trying to accommodate him in the side, and he ended up playing pretty much as left back the weekend. Find it bizarre. I honestly don't know, Andy. I don't know what the point in signing him was. I really don't. It was a total waste of a wages if you're not going to utilise him. What was yeah, they knew what they were buying. They didn't buy him, but they knew what got him on a free. But they knew what they're going to have to pay him in wages. They knew what they were getting, which is just find it bizarre.
Yeah, I think it's somebody that has experience on the pitch in these kind of games, and again, the only thing that I might think is that he's not doing exactly what he's told to do. Maybe he's going up the pitch too far, or not cutting back and turning back into traffic or something. It's the only thing I could think, like, why is he being dropped? Because from what I've seen of him, he's brought good balance and some solidity to the team. And obviously, we don't get to see what's going on in training, and people turn around and say, well, the manager gets to see what they're like in training. Well, I'll tell you what, we see what people are like on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's more important than what's going on in training, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to get the best out of people. Right, we're coming to the end of your comments, unless you throw any more in the comments box. We've been live around 53 minutes. We're coming to the back end of the show this Monday evening. I have one here I wanted to read out, and this could be the case, but get Martin out, put Lallana in as interim for the time being until we convince Jose Mourinho to save us. Yeah, I don't see Jose Mourinho coming to Southampton anytime soon. Stranger things have happened, but Lallana did step in at Brighton, so he's working towards his coaching badges. But with an international break, if you're going to change manager, you do it now. You'd have someone ready to come in. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, but it's something that could happen, I guess, Jimmy, isn't it? Lallana is working towards his coaching badges. I wouldn't say it was the ideal scenario right now, though.
He's still a technical coach for England under-21s.
Yes.
Is he doing both?
He is, yeah. Yes.
So I don't know whether he's got his full UEFA license for a Premier League team. So I don't know if they would be able to do that. Even I think that there is some ruling that you can do it on an interim basis if you've got a certain badge. Because actually, some clubs have done that in the past. They've installed like a ghost manager. So
yeah,
somebody with the right qualifications, but somebody's been pulling the strings from behind the scenes. But I don't know that would be the right decision. I haven't seen anything that would suggest that Lallana is the right person to coach a Premier League team right now.
We've got another really good comment just drop in, and it's brilliant. It's from a gentleman called Stephen. Stephen, thank you for tuning in tonight. I've not seen your name pop up before, so you may be new, but thank you for joining us. It's become about the manager and thus losing focus on the team. It's the players that get you there. He goes on to say, possession doesn't mean plodding up the field. It's about playing in the opposition's half and pressing to get more goals. A man that's speaking absolute sense.
So, I mean, yeah, I do agree, but it depends what kind of possession style you're playing. You can play a progressive style of football, which is completely dominating possession, which is what Russell Martin's trying to do. Or you could play a bit more like a Barcelona who will dominate that possession outside the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
And they're going to be making runs inside. But clearly the style that we're playing with, we're shifting over to the wings and trying to walk it in side to side, a bit like what England did in the previous cup. You know, it becomes very boring and tedious if you're not able to break down teams with 10, 11 people behind the ball. So, yeah, I mean, obviously possession, Russell Martin's style of possession is to not let the opponent have a chance at our goal. So yeah, point being Barcelona, of course we're not Barcelona. But my point being that there's a few different styles of possession that you can play. And I think that Russell Martin's is a lot more passive than others that we've seen. Yeah, you know, Man City, they'll play their possession style football with a lot more attacking intent, and it's not just fast runs down the wing. They will overload certain areas. Yeah, and then they'll get that ball into somebody that becomes free at the back post. But we're not doing that at all. You know, we're overloading areas and then shifting. That's it. That's all we're doing. It's not enough box play, which he's right about. Absolutely.
The comments are flying in, by the way. I will answer this
let's
one.
Just keep taking them. Yeah,
it's aimed at me. Hey, Martin, do you think you could do a better job than Russell Martin? I'm not paid the big bucks, my friend. So he's paid the big bucks to make the big decisions. Could I do a better job? No, he's a coach. It's what he's been in professional football. I haven't. He should know exactly what he's doing. And the people around him.
You'd probably try something and take that risk. If that meant you losing your job, that's the thing. Russell Martin wins no matter what. You know, if he gets sacked, he gets his money. Yeah, he gets a black mark against his name, but he also gets a win for having stuck to his principles.
Yeah, there's some really good chat in here. Right, I was going to comment on this anyway. Actually, Andy with another great one. Is Lallana finished? Looked like his legs have gone. I see a resemblance of how Theo Walcott's form rapidly declined. I think he's been good in moments, but I watched him Saturday, and in a midfield of Matheus Fernandes himself and Joe Aribo is not going to work. He'd be fine with Oriol Romeo behind him and Flynn Downs. He'd be okay with two holding midfielders, a bit like Chelsea played with Casido and Lavia, and let him play a little bit further forward, and he didn't have to run and defend as much and have to track. I thought he struggled a bit. I thought it was his worst. He
didn't have a choice, did he? They forced him to do that. I think as a centre attacking midfield or almost as a centre forward in the false nine role, if he can get in, take that ball, move it on, just totter around the pitch, be in a right position to receive the ball, because actually he holds up play really well. But didn't they want Stevens almost alongside him doing the defensive legwork to give him the ball to move from the looks of it? Did not work. It was just. Yeah. I know that again, the injury in warm up didn't help things, but maybe that was a complete wrong choice to put him into a more defensive position when you've got a team that can counter attack on you that quickly.
Yeah, they're powerful.
So his legs have gone, but he's 36.
Yeah,
and
it'd be his last season. There's no doubt about it.
His legs have not gone. In a Premier League game, when you're playing 18 to 24 sort of average age, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was never super fast, was he?
No, he was never quick. This is a good one. Can you talk more about the recruitment? Are these Russell Martin signings? Who watched Sheffield United last season and thought we should reform their front line? Fair play on Matheus Fernandes, though. Yeah, it was interesting. I had a little chat actually at the services with Alfie House travelling back from Wolverhampton the weekend, and we spoke about the signings. And I said, I was very critical of the signings. But when you look at it, I think Ramsdale was a good signing. I think that the right back, Yuki Sugawara, he's our future right back. He's a good signing, and he'll play a big role long term at the football club. And then you look at Charlie Taylor. He's not done anything, is he? That he's really struggled. Maxwell Cornet, disaster. Mateus Fernandez, brilliant. Downs, we had to sign him, and we miss him when he doesn't play, though he's not adapted to the Premier League that well. Harwood Bellis, he's getting better. He's got called up to the England squad. We signed him. I still don't think it was a terrible signing. But outside of that, I just don't think they've recruited well enough in the final third. And that was the discussion we had, Jimmy. It was all about the final third.
Yeah.
We've not had anyone to play on that left side for a while. We brought Ryan Fraser in, who's injured, take him out of it. Still don't know if he was the answer on left side, but we didn't buy anyone good enough on that left-hand side to really go at teams, someone that was going to be powerful and pacey and go past people. The one player that's come through that's been brilliant is Dibbling, and we didn't sign him. He just come through the academy, and I never even thought about him, not really in pre-season. We saw a few glimpses of him, and he's been the main man. So, yeah, recruitment for me, I think he's been let down in the final third, but I think he did have a massive say in it. Yeah, I do. Of course he did. He's the manager of the football club. We didn't have a director of football, so who was conducting all the transfer business? And they didn't get the people they needed to get out the door.
I reckon Ross has had more of a say in this than
huge.
And goes on. A lot of people are saying he's been given what he's got. I think there'll be players that he's wanted, and I think specifically on Jamal's point, I think he's referring to Cam Archer and Brereton Diaz. I think Cam Archer we're not playing him to his strengths, and same with Ben Diaz. He has looked pretty poor, but I don't want to say that he looked half decent when the first couple of games.
Looked right at Newcastle. When we were at Newcastle, he looked right, didn't he? Yeah. He looked good at Newcastle.
He was playing a bit more infield, wasn't he? Stick him out on that left wing. He's not a pacey man.
Yeah,
bring him more infield. Again, he could be playing. We talk about playing the ball off of an Archer, but someone like Ben Diaz could be doing that for Archer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Paul Archer. Somebody doing that. He is a big guy. He's got a bit of strength about him. And what I really like is his shithousing, and we need that in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Do you think we need Alex McCarthy in goal? Well, no, I don't, but he will be in goal.
Don't have a choice, do we?
Yeah. We don't have a choice now because Aaron Ramsdale, if you missed the top of the show, he's injured. He is injured, Aaron Ramsdale, because there was this tweet that was put out a little while ago this evening from Dan Sheldon, and it went on to say that he is on the sidelines with a suspected fractured finger, and he will have an operation on Wednesday. I've not been on the club's website again to get any updates on it, but if he has fractured his finger, he will probably be out for 6 weeks, which will mean that Alex McCarthy will be in goal. Right, back into the show. Not that long left. Right, what else do we have? Let's grab another question or two. Get someone different in. Matthew makes a good point there, actually. Archer and Diaz are suited to the counter-attack in football, which we don't play. Spot on, Matthew. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally agree with that. What else do we have? Adam Pearson made a comment a minute ago, and it'd be good to get other people comment on this one. Adam Pearson here. He's Adam P over on TikTok. I believe it's him, unless it's the Adam. It is that Adam. Definitely Adam. I don't know any other Adam Pearsons. The only problem with Russell Martin is the massive lack of shots on target. Changing the manager will turn us into Man City fans who want rid of Pep. We need to be patient. The only thing I'd say to that is we're 11 games in. I think if we're any more patient, we could be relegated.
Adam, do you mind if we're relegated? Have you considered the implications? Because being in the Championship, last season,
it's Saints, Adam.
It was okay. Yeah, last season was fine in the Championship. Sorry,
but we still shed a lot of goals in the Championship
for the club. Yeah, exactly. So we had that streak, but after that, after we got found out by teams of the way we played, that's when we started dropping down that table and started letting a lot more goals in. So whilst it was working, it was brilliant, but it hasn't been working for a long time.
Yeah, it hasn't been working. Even at the back end of last season, we were lucky to go up, really, in my opinion. I thought we rode our luck big time at the back end of that season. We were the third best team. We were just the better team on the day at Wembley, but we let too many goals in. And no matter where he's been manager, this guy, he's let goals in with the way he wants to play football. We look at his time at Swansea, he let a lot of goals in. His MK Dons let a lot of goals in, a lot of goals last season. I'm not convinced. If he remains the manager of Southampton Football Club, we will be relegated, in my opinion. That's me being totally honest. I think if you bring someone else in now, it may give you a little bit of a chance, potentially. But do we have the squad of players to do it? I'm not sure. You need to get in touch and distance come January and try.
You know what? I think we do. I think we do have some pretty good players, I think, in that squad. I think they just need to be trying something different here and there. The teams know what we're going to do. They know how we're going to line up. They know how we're going to play, and they know how they're going to set up against us. And set pieces is one of the big ways for them.
Yeah. Would prefer to stay up, but I don't know who they will replace Russell Martin with. That is the big thing. Who do you replace him with? I totally agree. I think it's a big debate, and who is out there. We pulled a rabbit out of the hat when we removed Nigel Atkins of his post as Southampton manager the last time he got promoted to the Premier League with Maurizio Pochettino, and things worked out very, very well. Bournemouth last year, they didn't do it they didn't do it into the season, but they replaced their manager with a bit of an unknown in Areola, and he's done very well. So they're paid big bucks, the owners of the football club, aren't they, Jimmy? And they're the ones to make the big decisions, but they're paid big money. They will have someone in mind. They're going to change.
They'll have a list. Yeah, and to be honest, it would probably surprise us. I don't think we'd see any big names or well-known names because we never do. Just want to pull up quickly is Alfie Dowler's comment.
Yeah. Right at the bottom there.
I didn't think that there's enough structure to the players. I think personally, Alfie, that there's too much structure. That's a big part of our problem is that we're not moving up the pitch quickly enough, which pulls players out of position sometimes. And I think that's the fear and why Russell Martin doesn't want people launching up the pitch. Yeah, he wants everybody to stay in a set position to receive a ball, two people being open. I think sometimes it's exactly a progressive style, and I think that's the recycling of the ball, moving it around, and that's too much. And you can't do that when you've got somebody, when you want triangles and you've got somebody up here. It doesn't work because then it's too easy for players to cut out your passes.
No, I agree. I think you made a really, really good point there. We do have the players to play normal attacking football. I agree with that. I think that we do. But you've got to utilise what is in the building. That's brilliant. It brings us nicely to it. I think we covered pretty much everything in the comments chat, to be fair. I think we've gone over every. Actually, there's one more from St Andrew. Before we go, he's been brilliant. Andrew in the chat, or Andy, apologies. He said, is a 40 million striker like Evan Nielsen at Bournemouth a worthwhile investment, worthwhile risk, rather than buying 4 times £10 million players, Ben Burton, Diaz? Totally agree, Andy. I said it a couple of times on TikToks. I would have rather seen, instead of wasting money on squad fillers, buy 2 or 3 standout players that will make a massive difference. People that are proven, somebody that's been around and is sought after. We've squad filled massively squad filled.
I think we may have ended up with a bit too many players in the squad.
Yeah, the squad's too big.
Not purposely. I think maybe they thought that they could move them on a bit better than what they did. Maybe they were looking for more money to be released. I'm not sure. And maybe they wanted multiple cover to play multiple positions. But of course, someone like Evan Nielsen, just for years, we haven't replaced Danny Ings from that one good season that he had. We haven't had a decent striker for a long time that's scoring in anything over 15 goals a season, have we?
Yeah, I agree with Alfie. I do agree. I've been saying that for weeks as well. months. Got to find a way to utilise him while you're paying him about 50 or grand a week. So yeah,
I do find he can be a bit lazy sometimes, or appear to be lazy. Whether he's meaning to do that on purpose, but there's something not quite clicking there, I think.
That's another good comment as well. I've said that for weeks as well. I'm not sure how fit we are. Yeah, I think every team I've watched this again.
Yeah. You look at us under Ralph and things like that. We were pressing everything. That we were probably peak fitness there. The team were incredibly fit, but now we're doing a lot less work with the ball, and I would imagine in training they're doing a lot less running. Again, I can't talk for that, but it does look like we're a bit leggy. But again, that could be that they're just not having to push themselves quickly up the pitch. Maybe they're being told don't get up there that fast.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's been a brilliant show. This has been a brilliant show, by the way.
Seen him on the touchline. I've seen the boss on the touchline saying, "Wait, stop, slow down, turn,
slow down, go inside."
Absolutely, stop, or getting yelled at for getting up the pitch too quickly, and that's it's not a good one for me. Yeah, we do have some people coming in January, don't we? We've bought.
Well, the Brazilians. Lads. Yeah, the two Brazilians. They Giuseppe, I think they one of them scored the weekend. I don't know loads about him, to be quite honest, but I still find the whole multi-club thing a load of nonsense. I don't like it personally. Is it beneficial to Southampton? I don't really know if it is, to be quite honest.
Well, they're struggling to manage one club, let alone two.
Yeah, no, exactly. Jimmy, tonight's been brilliant. This has been a brilliant show. And the interaction from everybody that's tuning in, I can't thank you all enough. We can't thank you all enough for tuning in and getting involved. And you've got your opportunity to come on and we'll get your conversation involved all the time. We've both got the platforms to do this. So it's been magnificent, hasn't it?
Yeah, make sure you all get over to my platform as well, because my vlogs are a little bit different to Martin's.
Yeah, we both do different things. We collab loads, then we meet up at games. Yep. Jimmy does some great vlog content, travels around the country like I do. We travel together, actually. We go to away games, we travel together with our friend Chris and Chloe, and we have good chat. And we're doing things in it. We have our own style, don't we? Which is
we have a bit of a laugh, don't we, in the car, Martin?
We have a good laugh in the car. We always have a good laugh. There's always good banter. Things get left in bags and all sorts of
that is X-rated.
always throw it out there. But it's brilliant, absolutely magnificent. Lovely company tonight. Loved you guys joining us as well. Opportunity for you to come and have your say as well. And I'm live on the TikTok lives on a Sunday night. As long as there's been a game that weekend, and we have a little bit of a call-in show, so you can actually call in and talk, which is
what's going on with England next week.
Yeah, England games this week. Greece. Is it Greece?
People dropping out left, right, and centre again.
Yeah, people are dodging the camp, aren't they? Last one with Lee Carsley in charge. They're all dropping out. See, right? Time for a lay down. Time for a bit of relaxation for the next couple of days. But make sure you subscribe to Jimmy's channel. At the Jimmy Cheese channel, I'll leave the links in my description as well, so you can go catch up on his content. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well. It really does help the channels. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you very much for joining us this Monday evening.